Hey, good day to you. This is Stan Perchowski with Perchowski Estate Law, and this is the Ask Stan show every Thursday at 12 noon, where I answer all your estate planning questions submitted throughout the week. If you have a question about wills, trusts, Medicaid pre-planning, Medicaid crisis planning, the nursing home, or just estate planning in general, just send them to me here on Facebook or call me at 363-7222 or email me at perchowskiestatelaw@gmail.com. I'll answer them live on WKSR Radio, and we post them here on the Ask Stan show every Thursday. So, let's get right to it.
And bus stop from 66, Mr. Stan Perchowski. He picks them on his Only of the Week right there. That's kind of your highlight of the week, isn't it? Getting to pick that song.
I enjoy that. Thank you. That's a lot of fun, yeah. And there's so many to choose from, I'll never run out of them. So.
Well, that's good. We'll have one every week. All right, sir. Your time.
Okay. Hey, before I get started, I'll bring this up again at the end, but I'm doing a seminar Monday, which is February the 1st. We're going to do it right over there at the Star Theater, where we have plenty of room to spread out. It's one of my free seminars. I'm calling it The Nursing Home and You. It's pretty much the why, the how, and the when planning presentation. I'm going to do it one time that day at 6 o'clock, 6 to about 7:30. We're going to do it live and we're going to do it virtual. You choose. I mean, we do all the social distancing and we make sure everybody's taken care of. A lot of folks like to come live because they just want to get out. And if you're not comfortable with that, we will do it by virtual, and we'll definitely have the seats and chairs social distance. But I'll bring that up again at the end. But let me break into my topic for today. You hear me all the time. I talk often about having or creating a plan. Those folks that hear me every Thursday morning, I always say we need a trust plan. We need to do some estate planning. And why do I keep talking about that? I mean, one thing is that, it is the only thing that we do at Perchowski Estate Law. It's all we do, and we do it every day. But I mean, and you've heard me talk about things like, if you do a trust plan, you can avoid probate. You can make sure, who takes care of your kids if something happens to you. You can take care of who's going to take care of your spouse. Where will all your stuff go? Okay, so I mean that's the kind of stuff that I, always bring up when I talk about trust plans.
And Stan, that's what we want, I would think. The way I understand it, from hearing what you say each week, a plan will make sure that what we actually want gets done, and I think a lot of folks worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly what it does, because if you put together a plan, what we've done is we have actually guaranteed how those concerns I just talked about are going to play out. In other words, your estate will avoid probate. It will make sure who's going to take care of your kids, and it'll be the person you want. It will take care, designate who's going to take care of your spouse, and it will make absolutely sure and guarantee who's going to get your stuff, how, and under what circumstances. So, that's why I kind of talk about that. But today I want to talk about something a little different. I mean, what if there's an unexpected surprise? I mean, what if an unexpected turn of events comes about? How does a plan fit in with that? Well, today I kind of have a success story rather than some of the usual no plan disaster stories. And when I say success story, I want to make it perfectly clear. It's a success story from a planning standpoint, but it's somewhat of a tragic story from a human interest or human suffering story. But anyway, we do trust planning at Perchowski Estate Law, and had a trust plan client, several years ago that came. We put together a plan for them. It was a good plan. They had some children. We created the plan for them. Where all things, the decisions that were to be made after death were taken care of. We put together all the other ancillary documents, like all my plans. We put together all the things I call avoiding living probate, which are all the documents that don't survive death, like power of attorney, the durable power of attorney for health care, your HIPAA waivers, those sort of things. So we put together a good comprehensive plan for these folks, like we do for everybody. And unfortunately, though, earlier, not too long ago, we got a call from their, adult children, and it turns out, of course, unfortunately, it was a COVID situation, but we had one parent that was in a hospital and on a ventilator and incapacitated, and the other parent also ended up in the hospital too, but was still conscious. So here we got a real difficult situation for the family, because when you have power of attorneys and that, and you're a spouse, you're usually each other's choice first, and then it moves on to the children. But the family here was very concerned about you know, who was in charge of the decision-making process? Who was going to be doing this, that, who's making the decisions? Because when you think about it, you got one parent that's incapacitated, not able to make decisions, so it would fall on the other spouse to make the decisions. But you know, could that spouse make decisions? Because he was in it was in the hospital as well, and so he's compromised. He's compromised a couple ways. One, because he's sick, and two, he's not in the medical loop of the spouse. So it's, you know, everybody's isolated, kept away from everybody. So it's hard for him to make decisions. So anyway, this family did exactly what I recommend people always do, and that is, you know, if you have a trust plan, if you put this together, tell your family that you have a trust and tell them where it is. That way, if something happens, they can go to it. That's what these folks did. You know, they called me and they said they knew they had this plan, and they went straight to it and brought it to me. We talked about it. I showed them who was in control. I showed them, you know, how everyone was set up. We walked through a lot of scenarios, that sort of thing. And it was a tremendous relief for these folks, because now they know who's in control. They know who's making decisions. They're involved. They didn't have to worry about all the other stuff if this wasn't taken care of, because you know, you can imagine what it would be like if none of this stuff was in place and you have this situation. The hospital didn't know what to do. They didn't know whether they should go to the conscious spouse to make decisions, knowing that he was in a compromised position. So it really was kind of a success story that way. But they put the children in charge, and they're taking charge, and they're making, you know, power of attorney decisions, and they're making healthcare decisions as well. So,
Stan, let me ask you this. If a couple of adult children, and one is better with finances, but a little tender-hearted about making life or death or healthcare decisions, and another child that is the opposite, is it possible for me to have one designated to take care of the healthcare and the other take care of the rest?
okay, if I understand the question, we have things called durable power of attorney. And, you know, that's a power of attorney that allows your agent to do anything you could do, pretty much financially, but more importantly, anything non-health related. And then you have your healthcare power of attorney, which we call the Tennessee Advanced Care Directive, which gives you the ability for your agent to make healthcare decisions and healthcare decisions only. And of course, the big difference between the two is that the healthcare power of attorney is a springing power. It's actually triggered upon an incapacity. And so I guess the question is, suppose you got some children, and you got one to be a real whiz at taking care of finances. If you wanted them to do that, the durable power of attorney stuff. They could take care of your taxes, they could pay your bills, they could do just anything and everything financially. But maybe that person would not be the best to make hard healthcare decisions.
Right.
You know? In other words, some people don't like to live with decisions like that they make, or just can't make them in the first place. I mean, they can be real crackerjack at the other stuff. So the answer is that if you have one child that's good at one thing and the other one you think might be in a better position, like maybe working in the healthcare industry or something, where they know and understand that hard healthcare decisions have to be made. You can certainly do that, because when you do a plan and put together these documents, it's about whatever you want. So if you think one's better than the other and you want to mix and match and swap them around, that is no problem. We just need to memorialize that in the documents, so that when, you know, at the hospital they realize that this child has the power to make these decisions, but somebody else has the power to make the healthcare decisions, that sort of thing. So I pretty much think that answers the questions.
And I'm sure you've seen this in your practice. What if someone has a trust plan and it doesn't tell anyone they did it or even where it is?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, this family did that, which is great, but let's just kind of walk through that. You know, if you have a trust plan, that's great. You've done a wonderful thing. You've satisfied a lot of issues. You've solved a lot of problems. But if something happens to you and you didn't tell anybody you had one, and you don't tell them where it is, it's kind of like a scavenger hunt, because your family doesn't, I mean, they may not know what to do. They may have the power to resolve all these things, but they don't know yet, because in that plan resides the documentation that, you know, banks and any legal decisions that need to be made is where that power lies. So let's just, use this example. If they knew where to go and they were hit the ground running, being in a position to resolve issues and answer questions. If nobody knows you have it, I mean, chances are they'll probably find it. But think of the turmoil and the unrest is going to be until they do. And the scrambling, I mean, it's like, what are we looking for? If we don't even know they have one, what the heck are we looking for? Are we looking for a will? Are we looking for a trust? What's out there? So it's always a good idea. A lot of people don't like to reveal their business and they want to be private, and that's great. You don't have to show them what's in the trust, but if you've got one, say, look, kids, we did a trust. We've got the plan. Everything you need to know is in the safe deposit box, and here's where the key is. If something happens, go straight to it, and you'll find out. You're not revealing anything that's in it, but you're certainly letting them know you have one and putting their mind at ease and how to deal with a situation like this. So, that I call that a success story. Of course, I'm not talking about the health part of it. That's certainly tragic, and we hope that turns out okay. But that's how it's supposed to work, and this just worked like a well-oiled machine, and we're real happy with the way it's working. And anyway, our prayers are with that family and hope they get taken care of. So anyway, if that sounds like something you want to have and you don't have it, that's what we do at Perchowski Estate Law. That's, like I said before, that's all we do is estate planning and elder law, trust writing, Medicaid planning, both pre-planning and crisis planning. And if that interests you, hey, this Monday, the 1st, February 1st, come on down to the Star Theater. I'm having my free seminar, The Nursing Home and You, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about. The why, how, and when planning presentation. It's a free seminar. It doesn't cost anything. Just come and be educated about it, learn. I know you'll have questions, and I'll be there to answer every question you have. It's at 6 p.m. Call my office at 363-7222. Talk to Alex or Tammy or Courtney and get on the RSVP list, and just come on down. If not, if you're still a little worried about getting out, we're going to stream it virtual.
All right, good information. Thank you, Stan. And you're on with us every Thursday morning at 8:30 from Perchowski Estate Law. Thank you, sir. Good segment. And have yourself a good day.
Thank you, Butch. And see if you can do a little something about this weather I'm sponsoring.
I'm telling you, hold you accountable for that.
Thanks.